I never thought I would be the one sitting in an oceanfront resort in Costa Rica with divorce papers in my trembling hands. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant iridescent reds, a beautiful backdrop for the ugliest moment of my life. My wife of 7 years. Elaine stood frozen in the marble lobby, her face drained of color as she locked eyes with the man waiting for her. Robert, her work husband, the man she had been planning to run away with, using our joint savings of $200,000. The man who was now just as shocked to see me as she was to see him here. Sometimes the perfect revenge is simply letting someone's plan unfold, but with one crucial player unexpectedly change. I met Elaine during my final year of graduate school. She was vibrant, ambitious, and had the most infectious laugh I had ever heard. We married after 2 years of dating, settling into a comfortable life in the suburbs of Boston. I worked as a financial analyst while she climbed the corporate ladder at a prestigious marketing firm. We were, by all accounts, the perfect couple, at least that's what everyone told us at dinner parties and family gatherings. Our 7th anniversary was approaching, and I wanted to surprise her with something special. We had been saving diligently for years, $200,000 in our joint account earmarked for a down payment on our dream home. The housing market had been cruel lately, but our patience would eventually pay off. Or so I thought. The discovery happened on a Tuesday. Elaine had been working late nights for months, citing a major client acquisition that required all hands on deck. I supported her completely, picking up extra chores around the house and making sure dinner was ready whenever she came home, sometimes well past midnight. That evening, she had rushed off to the gym before heading to the office, leaving her gym bag open on our bedroom floor. As I went to move it aside, a phone, not her regular iPhone, tumbled out. A basic model. The kind people buy when they don't want to be tracked. I stared at it for what felt like hours, my heart already knowing what my brain refused to accept. When I finally gathered the courage to pick it up, the screen lit up with a message notification. Can't wait for Costa Rica. Just 2 more weeks and we'll be free. No more sneaking around, no more pretending. Just you and me and the ocean. The message was from someone saved simply as R. My hand shook as I unlocked the phone. Her password was our wedding date, a detail that felt like a knife twisting in my chest. What I found was months of conversations between my wife and her work husband, Robert. I had met him once at a company holiday party, tall, confident, with the kind of smile that made you instantly uncomfortable. Elaine had introduced him as her new project partner, nothing more. The messages painted a different picture. They had been having an affair for nearly a year. Worse, they had been methodically planning their escape to Costa Rica, where Robert had connections to start a new business. And they were planning to fund this new life with our savings, my money, her money, our future. James is so clueless, she had written. He trusts me completely. He'll never suspect anything until we're long gone. What about his share of the money? Robert had asked. What about it? He'll be fine. His parents are loaded, and he's so passive he probably won't even fight it. By the time the divorce goes through, we'll be untouchable. I sat on the edge of her bed, the phone clutched in my hand, reading message after message detailing how meaningless our marriage had become to her, how excited she was to start fresh with Robert, how she couldn't wait to feel the Costa Ricans and between her toes as they watched the sunset from their oceanfront villa at the Paraíso del Mar resort. That night when she came home, I greeted her with a kiss and asked about her day. I watched her lie to my face with practiced ease, mentioning meetings that never happened and colleagues who never existed. I played my part perfectly, the trusting, oblivious husband. You seem tired, she said, touching my cheek with concern that now felt poisonous. Is everything okay? Just work stress, I replied, amazed at how steady my voice sounded while my world was collapsing. Nothing to worry about. As she showered, I returned the burner phone exactly where I had found it. Then I lay awake beside her all night, listening to her breathing, wondering how many times she had dreamed of Robert while sleeping next to me. The next morning I called in sick to work for the first time in 5 years. Instead of confronting her, I began my own planning. If Elaine wanted Costa Rica, I would give her Costa Rica, just not in the way she expected. Over the next few days, I maintained an Oscar-worthy performance of normalcy while methodically setting my plan in motion. First, I visited our bank and spoke with the manager, an old college friend named Michael. I'm planning a surprise for our anniversary, I explained. I need to move most of our savings to a separate account temporarily, one that won't show up on our joint statements. Michael looked hesitant. That's a substantial amount, James. Are you sure about this? I forced a smile. Absolutely. It's going to be the surprise of a lifetime. He had no idea how rude that statement was. With the money secured, I contacted the Paraíso del Mar resort in Costa Rica, the exact place mentioned in their messages. Using their communications as my guide, I booked the same oceanfront villa Robert had reserved, but 4 dates 1 day earlier. I requested absolute discretion, explaining I was surprising my wife for our anniversary. The resort manager was delighted by my romantic gesture. We seem any anniversary, senor, but this is truly special. We will make sure everything is perfect. I then hired a private investigator to track Robert's movements. I needed to know exactly when he planned to leave, to ensure our paths would cross perfectly in Costa Rica. The investigator confirmed what I already knew. Robert had requested 2 weeks of vacation time from his office, starting the Monday after our anniversary. As the days passed, Elaine became increasingly distracted. She checked her secret phone constantly when she thought I wasn't looking. She made excuses to leave rooms to take calls. She began suggesting that perhaps we should postpone any major financial decisions until the market improves. You know, she said casually over dinner one night, I was thinking maybe we should diversify some of our savings. Maybe look at different investment options. I nodded thoughtfully. That's not a bad idea. What did you have in mind? Nothing specific yet, she replied, eyes not quite meeting mine. Just thinking about our future. Our future. The words hung in the air like a bad joke. Meanwhile, I was growing increasingly sick with stress. I lost 10 pounds in a week. I couldn't eat. I barely slept. Every memory of our marriage was now tainted, causing me to question everything we had ever shared. Had she ever loved me? Was our entire relationship built on lies? When had I become someone she could discard so easily? The weekend before our anniversary, Elaine suggested we keep the celebration simple. Maybe just dinner at that Italian place we like? It's been such a hectic time at work. Actually, I said I was thinking of something a bit more special this year. Her face flashed with momentary panic before she composed herself. Oh? What did you have in mind? It's a surprise, I replied. Just make sure you're packed for warm weather by Friday. I watched the calculations happening behind her eyes. Her plans with Robert weren't supposed to happen until the following Monday. A weekend away would still give her time to return and execute their escape. That sounds lovely, she said finally, kissing my cheek. You're so thoughtful. That night, she sent a frantic message to Robert from her secret phone. James is planning some surprise trip for our anniversary weekend. Don't worry, I'll be back in time. Nothing changes. His reply came quickly, just make sure you're back by Sunday night. The money transfer needs to happen Monday morning before the banks flag anything suspicious. I read these exchanges after she fell asleep, her phone clutched loosely in her hand. With each message, my resolve strengthened. The pain was transforming into something harder, colder, more determined. The morning of our flight, Elaine was noticeably anxious. She had packed a small suitcase as instructed, but kept checking her phone compulsively. Where exactly are we going? She asked as our Uber approached the airport. You'll see when we check in, I replied with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. When the airline attendant announced our boarding for San Jose, Costa Rica, I felt Elaine stiffen beside me. Her face paled and she gripped her armrest tightly. Costa Rica? She whispered. That's your surprise? I squeezed her hand. I know how much you've always wanted to go. I found this amazing resort called Paraíso del Mar. It's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. For a moment, I thought she might faint. I watched as she excused herself to the restroom, no doubt to warn Robert about this catastrophic coincidence. What she didn't know was that I had temporarily blocked his number on her secret phone, a trick I learned from a YouTube video. Her message would show as sent but would never reach him. On the plane, as the studio and even tried herself out as a voice actor, she was silent, claiming a headache. I offered her pain relievers and played the concerned husband while she stared out the window, clearly trying to formulate a new plan. You're going to love this place, I told her. Oceanfront villa, private beach access, the works, cost a fortune, but hey, what else are we saving for if not experiences like this? She flinched at the mention of money but forced a smile. It sounds wonderful. You really shouldn't have gone to so much trouble. No trouble at all, I assured her. Nothing's too good for us. When we landed in San Jose, her anxiety reached new heights. She was constantly checking her phone, growing increasingly frustrated by her inability to contact Robert. I maintained my cheerful facade as we collected our luggage and met our private driver for the 3-hour journey to the resort. During the drive, Elaine finally managed to get a message through to Robert. Emergency. James brought me to Paraíso del Mar for our anniversary. We're arriving today. What do we do? His response was immediate. What? How is that possible? This is a disaster. I'm already here setting things up. I'll check out immediately and move to another resort. Delete these messages. I watched her read this exchange from the corner of my eye, saw the momentary relief wash over her face as she deleted the conversation. She thought they had averted disaster. She had no idea we were driving straight toward it. As we approached the resort entrance, a magnificent open-air lobby framed by towering palm trees and overlooking the Pacific Ocean, I noticed Elaine scanning the area nervously. The timing would need to be perfect. The resort manager greeted us warmly. Senor and Senora Mitchell, welcome to Paraiso del Mar. We are so honored to host you for this special anniversary. As the staff took our bags and offered us welcome cocktails, I made my request. Would you mind if we took a quick look around the lobby? My wife loves architecture. Of course, senor. Please enjoy. Your villa is being prepared. I guided Elaine toward the oceanfront side of the lobby, where the bar was located. And there he was, Robert, sitting at the bar with a laptop open, frantically typing. He hadn't noticed us yet. Isn't this place amazing? I said loudly enough for him to hear. Robert's head snapped up. The color drained from his face as he locked eyes with Elaine, then me. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Elaine? He said, before he could stop himself. I turned to my wife with exaggerated surprise. Oh, look, it's Robert from your office. What a coincidence. I extended my hand to him. Great to see you again, Robert. Are you here on vacation too? The panic that passed between them was palpable. Robert stood awkwardly, knocking over his drink. Yes, just a quick getaway. I had no idea you two would be here. Elaine looked like she might collapse. Robert's been working so hard, he mentioned taking some time off, she stammered. What a small world. Tiny, I agreed cheerfully. Why don't you join us for dinner tonight? We have this amazing villa with a private dining terrace. The resort can set an extra place. I couldn't impose, Robert began. I insist, I said, my hand firmly on his shoulder. Any friend of Elaine's is a friend of mine. That evening, the three of us sat on the terrace of our villa, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. I had ordered an expensive bottle of champagne and was playing the perfect toast while they exchanged nervous glances. Two coincidences. I toasted, raising my glass. They reluctantly clinked their glasses against mine. Throughout dinner, I asked Robert innocent questions about his work, his hotel room, his travel plans, watching him squirm with each answer. So, how long are you staying in Costa Rica, Robert? I asked. Just, a few days, he replied, avoiding eye contact. That's a shame. We're here for 2 weeks. I figured, why not go all out for our anniversary? Speaking of which, I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out an envelope. Elaine forced a smile. James, you didn't need to get me anything else. This trip is more than enough. Oh, but this is special, I said, sliding the envelope across the table to her. Go ahead, open it. Her hands trembled as she tore open the envelope, clearly expecting anniversary tickets or a spa package. Instead, she pulled out legal documents. Divorce papers already filled out and flagged where she needed to sign. The color drained from her face. What? What is this? I believe the legal term is petition for dissolution of marriage, I said calmly, taking a sip of champagne. But most people just call them divorce papers. Robert started to stand. I should go. Sit down. Robert, I said, my voice suddenly hard. You're very much part of this conversation. He sank back into his chair. I turned to Elaine. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? The secret phone? The plans to empty our savings? Your work husband, here waiting for you in Costa Rica? Her eyes widened in shock. James, I can explain. No need, I cut her off. Your text messages explained everything quite thoroughly. James is so clueless. He trusts me completely. He's so passive he probably won't even fight it. Those were your exact words, right? Robert looked at Elaine in horror. You said he found out about the trip, not that he knew everything. I laughed bitterly. Oh, I know everything, including your plan to transfer our $200,000 in savings first thing Monday morning. Elaine's face crumpled. It wasn't like that. We were going to pay you back eventually. Save it. I interrupted. The money's gone. At least it's gone from our joint account. I transferred it to a new account in my name only. Technically, that's only half stealing, which makes me morally superior to both of you. You can't do that, she exclaimed. I already did. And given the documentation I have of your plan to take it all, my lawyer assures me the courts will be very understanding. Robert finally found his voice. Look, James, this got out of hand. We never meant to hurt you. Funny how affairs and theft usually do hurt people, I replied. Almost like actions have consequences. I stood up and walked to the edge of the terrace, looking out at the moonlit ocean. You know what the saddest part is? You could have just asked for a divorce. I would have given you one. We could have split everything fairly, but instead, you chose this. I turned back to them. So here's what happens now. Elaine, you can sign those papers tonight or we can rag this out in court. Either way, I've already documented everything, the secret phone, the messages, the plan to take our savings. Your choice. And what about the money? She asked quietly. What about it? You'll get your legal share in the divorce settlement minus the cost of this lovely trip, of course. I figured if I was paying for your romantic Costa Rican getaway, I might as well enjoy it too. Robert cleared his throat. And me? I smiled coldly. You're free to go. Back to Boston, specifically, where I've taken the liberty of forwarding your text messages to your company's HR department and your wife. His face went ash white. My wife? You contacted my wife? Did Elaine not mention he was married with 2 kids? I asked her innocently. Fascinating what details get overlooked when you're planning to run away together. Elaine turned to Robert in shock. You're married? You told me you were divorced. The look of betrayal on her face would have been satisfying if I hadn't worn the same expression just days earlier. The following morning, I sat alone on the beach watching the sunrise. Elaine had signed the papers after hours of tears and recriminations not directed at me, but at Robert, who had apparently been lying to her as much as she had been lying to me. They had fought viciously after I left them on the terrace, their screams audible throughout the villa. Robert had checked out of the resort at dawn, fleeing back to a life that was certainly in shambles by now. Elaine had locked herself in the bedroom, emerging only to tell me she was booking a flight back to Boston and would be gone by noon. I never meant for it to go this far, she said, her eyes red and swollen. I don't expect you to believe me, but I am sorry. I believe you're sorry you got caught, I replied. There's a difference. She nodded, accepting this. What will you do now? I gestured to the paradise surrounding us. I paid for 2 weeks at this ridiculous resort. Seems a shame to waste it. After she left, I moved to a different villa, one without the lingering presence of betrayal. I spent my days swimming, hiking through the nearby rainforest, and my evenings eating alone at beachfront restaurants. The resort staff, who had witnessed the dramatic implosion of my marriage, treated me with a kind of reverent pity, ensuring my drinks were always full and my needs anticipated. On my final night in Costa Rica, the resort manager approached my table. Senior Mitchell, forgive my intrusion. I just wanted to say. He paused, searching for the right words. In my 20 years managing this resort, I have seen many marriages begin and unfortunately some end. But never have I seen someone handle such betrayal with such dignity. I laughed softly. I'm not sure dignity is the right word for what happened here. Ah, but it is, he insisted. Many men would have created a scene, destroyed property, behaved like animals. You let the truth speak for itself. This is rare. I considered his words as I watched the sunset paint the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks, the same colors that had backdropped the beginning of this nightmare. The truth always comes out eventually, I said. I just decided to control when and where. He nodded appreciatively. And what will you do when you return home? It was a question I'd been avoiding. The life I had planned, the house we were saving for, the family we might have had was gone. $200,000 was a substantial sum, but it felt hollow without the future it was meant to build. I don't know, I admitted. Start over, I guess. He smiled. You know, senor, in Costa Rica, we have a saying, pura vida. It means pure life, but it is more than that. It means that no matter what happens, life goes on and can be good again. Pura vida, I repeated, testing the phrase. Exactly, he said, patting my shoulder. Your life is not ending here. It is beginning again. As I packed my bags the next morning, I found myself thinking about those words. For years, I had defined myself as part of a couple, as Elaine's husband. Now I was just James again, wounded, certainly, but also unexpectedly free. I took one last walk along the beach before my departure. The same ocean that was supposed to witness Elaine and Robert's new beginning was now witnessing mine. There was something poetically just about that. My phone buzzed with a text from Michael, my banker friend. Everything's finalized with the accounts. The divorce papers have been filed. You're officially starting fresh. How does it feel? I looked out at the endless horizon, where the blue of the ocean met the blue of the sky, impossible to tell where one ended and the other began. Like an ending, I typed back, but also like a beginning. I pocketed my phone and walked toward the waiting airport shuttle, leaving footprints in the sand that would soon be washed away by the tide. Sometimes revenge isn't about making someone suffer, it's about reclaiming your own story when someone else tries to write it for you. Sometimes it's simply about having the last word in a conversation you never asked to have. Pura vida, indeed.